those and where they're at.
And do you mean temporary for COVID?
Yeah.
Right.
Or
So,
has COVID got some special thing that it allows it to break the rules, or?
no. So you're right, we do have to keep track of these temporary employees, and we are. I just don't know off the top of my head how many we have. Because even though they're labeled as temporary, they still, if they're here a certain amount of time and make a certain amount of money, which they will because they're working so many hours, will most likely qualify for IBERs.
Hey, one second, who's on the phone right now?
Is it Grant?
Well, I want them to mute their phone when we're hanging up.
It might be IT, was he doing the phone?
No, he was with.
We're good now. Okay.
So you're indicating that we may have to give them IFRS and then cut them loose?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So then they go, as temporary employees, they go to unemployment?
That I don't know. I think it depends on how much they can apply for it, and then unemployment will do their look back.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Well, and they would look back and say, you've got us loose, so then they count against our.
You have to work a certain amount of time and make a certain amount of dollars, because then they would look at their employer before they worked here and some of their unemployment.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But as far as the holiday pay yesterday, what is the board's pleasure on what you would like to do for the temporary employees?
The only thing I'd be curious on is if it's still reimbursable under FEMA.
I think.
What's the percentage of it?
No, I think the FEMA rules are the regular rate and not the overtime rate is reimbursable. So we get the regular rate and then not the time and a half, I don't think. But don't quote me on that, but there's a rule there, they don't, you don't
I
get
don't know
both
what
that
that
thing.
rule is.
But I think, I don't know, are they working 8-hour days or what, I don't even know.
I believe they're working 8-hour days, yes.
We don't know what the number is, how much?
On how many employees there are?
No.
Or how many worked yesterday?
Yeah, so like, let's say you had 100 people working, right? 10 of these temporary people fell on this. How much more money does it cost for those 10 people, or whatever it is?
Right, and because they're all at different hourly rates. I mean, it would be 10 or less.
So I'm a little concerned just saying, yeah, let's pay them when I don't know what that dollar amount is.
Okay.
You know, I mean, because that could be $25,000 and that might be something.
Well, the thing is, we don't have a whole lot of latitude or options, I guess. I mean, we can't give them a floating day or treat them some other way because they're temporary. And you can have a floating day in 2021, but you're gonna be floating because you're not gonna be here. So, so I guess it's.
Is it all in the health department?
I guess it's
All of them. Okay, thank you.
probably, to be fair, it's time and a half is what the standard is, right?
Yes.
Is what we'd have to look at doing, you know? Be my guess.
Is Matt's out there, you probably know, you might know the number.
Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah.
How many of them worked
It's
yesterday?
hard to, well, I just, it's hard to write.
I think there's 7 of them.
That worked yesterday?
7 nurses doing the contact
Yeah,
tracing.
worked yesterday?
I don't know if they worked yesterday, I'm just telling you, I
Right.
think there's 7 of them that work in that arena for contact
For tracing.
tracing.
Hey, Matt, so we're curious how many people were working yesterday for the COVID virus stuff? So you had like 7 nurses or something, and how many?
Yeah, so we ended up having, there were 5 nurses in, and then we had our interpreters. One of those were working by phone. Myself, Maria, Nick, Garfield, and Jake were all in first thing in the morning until 9.
You had 6 temporary employees basically, right, that worked yesterday? So you guys are like, you work for the county?
Temporary, we had, 3, 4.
4?
Yeah.
4, And they worked how many hours, Matt? They worked 8?
I couldn't tell you when they left, but I would assume that,
Not more than 8,
yeah, I wouldn't think it would have been more than 8 hours.
okay?
We're trying to figure out how much it cost us if we were given incentive pay for working the holiday.
So that's 32.
And we did for the interpreter piece of it, we got the grant dollars, from the state that we'll be able to utilize that for the incentive piece of anything that's worked out.
Matt, are overtime hours reimbursable from FEMA?
Yes,
Yeah, but just at regular rate, ain't it? It's not at the overtime rate.
right, and it's varies between personnel too.
Right.
So if they are just specific to COVID, then yes. If they are, like in my position, 8 hours of what we do does not count anything towards it because it's only above and beyond what a normal work schedule would be. So for our normal nurses as well, the 8 hours is not gonna be reimbursable. Anything that they put in overtime wise is for that.
At the regular rate.
Right.
That's what I thought it was. So yesterday, I don't know, I just rounded the numbers, it's probably around $2,500 for the 4 temps that he was talking about.
At time and a half?
Yeah. So is this?
You
Is
kind of
this,
know for payroll, huh?
Well, no, because we did start yesterday is a new pay period. So they're not gonna get paid for yesterday, this Friday. So we actually have, 2 weeks, if you wanted a little more time
yeah, let's just get those.
to get those actual numbers. We just wanted to be able to tell them something.
Right,
So would you like me to put it on the next, agenda
Yeah.
with the exact hours and dollars?
Yeah, that would
pretty
help.
close, yeah.
Okay, will you be having a meeting next week or will it be the week after?
We can meet for this.
Okay,
It's the courthouse opening too, isn't it? June 2nd.
June 2nd, June 2nd is
determined.
next week.
Election day.
yeah, June 2nd would be the next one.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool, thank you.
Some more on that.
yes.
You said there's more on that?
No, I'll provide you more
Oh.
details at the next meeting.
Okay, so we still have you on, I think.
Yes.
So next would be to authorize discussion decision to approve the chairman to sign memorandum of understanding between Potawatomi County and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 2364-911, concerning supplemental pay for employees with Potawatomi County Communications Center.
This is the supplemental pay from the contract that comes out based on Chapter 20.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Hey. Grant, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yep, Grant, we got you on here. Grant Anderson, Community and Economic Development Planner, MAPPA, for the bid opening for asbestos abatement for Carson and Macedonia downtown revitalization projects. Grant, you wanna go ahead and?
Yeah, sure. You can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks. I'll keep this brief. A bid notice was advertised on April 24th, but we didn't receive any bids between then and the deadline, which was May 20th. If I had to speculate why, basically, since this is being paid with federal money, the federal Davis-Bacon wages apply, and it's probably a small job anyway, so just in terms of what it's going to yield in profit for a company might not be very much. Regardless, I notified the state, and it was just explained to me that the service would need to be bid out at least one more time, and if the same thing happens, we can probably look at a different alternative. But yeah, I just wanted to put that on the agenda since it was stated in a open bid process that a bid opening date would be today.
Okay. Okay.
That is all I have unless there are any questions I can answer.
No?
Well,
Go ahead.
I guess, hey, Grant,
Yes.
I don't know, was it last week? Is that the bid, the DTR construction bidding for the cities?
Oh, on the agenda, no, that's, I just saw that this morning. That would be the grant administration for the city's grants that were awarded by Iowa West back in March, I believe.
Okay, but this is do the facade rehabilitation and stuff that,
Right, yeah.
we sent, was that isn't through, the cities, is it? Program? Wasn't that CBG money we got?
It's both. It's both CDBG and Iowa West City's money.
And the county just acts as a fiscal agent, correct?
That's correct.
We're not responsible for reviewing the documents or the project, at any level. I mean,
Well,
that's local control. The cities are responsible for that.
any review of the construction and bid documents would be done at a public hearing or forum at the county. So
Why
that's being taken care of.
why at the county? It's the city.
Well, the county is the grantee with the state Iowa Economic Development Authority.
I thought the cities were, and we were just fiscal agent.
I mean, the cities are the sub-recipients of the money, but ultimately the grant agreement and the contract is between the Iowa Economic Development Authority and the county.
Well, that isn't the way it was originally, I think, it presented to us, to be honest with you. I mean, we don't have the ability to go in those communities and dictate. That's why Iowa has local control. So, okay, you might want to run that up the economic development flagpole and then get back to us on that, would you?
Yeah, I think there's flexibility in how this program can work. I came involved in this sort of halfway.
Grant, the cities would basically need to delegate that authority to the Board of Supervisors for us to do that. So,
Okay.
to Scott's point, like it can be done, but the city councils there would say, okay, county board, you need to be able to make these calls for us, and then they would vote on that. But otherwise, I'm kind of with Scott on that. We're kind of making a decision for a city when really it should be their government doing that, not ours.
And I don't know that we maybe have the total wherewithal to be,
I don't know.
project administrators for the cities,
Right. Well,
So run that up your, trails and see where it takes you.
okay, yes, I will do that,
Okay.
and I'll give you an update when I have some more information.
So do we need to do any kind of, for this, no bid deal, do we need to do any kind of motion or anything then or not?
No, I don't believe so. It was just purely informational.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Grant. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Pam, got you on here as acting director of planning development. Discussion decision to add Hunt Avenue from Highway 6 to 238th Street to the official bituminous road classification in Potawatomi County and to sign resolution 53-2020 entitled Resolution for Establishing Official Bituminous Roads.
So move.
Second, for discussion. Is this out, is the 238th out to where it ends, that, where it then turns and heads back to 6?
No, 238th Street heads north off Hunt Avenue.
But is this as far as he went out? Is this at the end point?
That's where it ends.
Okay, yeah, so,
245th is where it turns and heads south.
Okay, it goes both ways at 238 or not? Just-
No, just to the
Just
north.
north.
Just north, okay. And it gave the address of the person requesting this. Who was that?
The property owner is Jerry Purcell.
Okay, so where, on this map that you sent, it's before Gilead or not?
No, it'd be after Gilead,
It is after Gilead.
quite a ways.
So where, it doesn't show it on the map that was in the packet. Where's it at that he's wanting it? What?
Gilead Road right there.
No, I know, but I got Gilead, but where's
Oh.
the piece, parcel that
It should be highlighted on that map.
that's what I'm saying.
There's some red crosshairs on here,
But that's way back from
yeah.
Gilead. You got it?
I don't have the map with
Turquoise
me.
blue kind of started to be up there on the corner.
Yeah, is that it? Way up, is it way up there? Where the turquoise is, way up here?
There's something started there, I forget.
Yeah, so that'd be his piece right there,
It's way up here?
way up there.
Oh, okay.
Cause it's kind of where those, you know where those old motor graders were
Yeah.
parked at for a long time?
Okay.
That's kind of where
Okay.
it would be at.
Cool. Thank you.
So he's got the ability, and I thought we did this road already, to break that into what, 4 parcels, is that what it said?
He has the potential to.
Right, okay,
There's a house being constructed on it currently.
on that,
Mhm.
one of those parcels,
Yes.
okay, okay. But we didn't have Hunt on the list already after we did that.
No, so, the engineer's office just seal coated that, what was it, last year, or the year
I
before?
think it's gonna- this-
I think it was the year before
Yeah.
last, when they had originally seal coated that, and that was, that new type of material
Right,
that
right,
John
right.
had used,
Yeah.
and we hadn't had any, we've been doing these, adding them into the official bituminous roads kind of by request, and so that way, on our part, it kind of gives you a little bit to see how that road's gonna hold up, and then, you know, as we saw with, I think it was the frost of last year when it came out of the ground, some of the seal coat roads did not hold up the best, but that one on Hunt Avenue seemed to hold up better, and then I think that was kind of the idea behind that new material. I mean, I can't fully speak for John or anything on what he did, but
Well, there's probably, that one, subject to the ones that have to use by detour, but that one gets a lot of traffic on it. You know, I mean, I don't know what the actual counts are, but it would see a lot of traffic that comes in and out through there. People, it's amazing how many people use that road.
it is one of the roads too that subdivides a multiple, you know, most roads stick to section lines.
Right.
This is one of those roads that divides in a bunch of sections, which goes along with the changes that we made in the code, last year, where, with the exceptions on if the road splits a quarter section, you now have the benefit of the lots on both sides of the road, to where it used to be written as just when the road was on the section line, then you could have 4 lots in the quarter section on one side of the road, 4 lots in the quarter section on the other side. The minute it split one, well, you could still only have 4 lots. Now you still have both sides of the road that you could potentially have those 4 lots on. So it will open up, numerous potentials for individuals out there.
Cool. This is roll call.
Roll call.
Chairman Schultz,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Bell,
Aye.
Drake,
Aye.
and Groby.
Aye. All right. Sign that one, Lynn. Okay, so next we have the final plat of the Chriswell subdivision. Subdivision in Hazeldale Township and signing and planning and zoning resolution 2020-06.
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chairman Schultz,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman. Aye. Bell.
Aye.
Drake,
Aye.
and Groby.
Yeah, aye.
Now the fun one. Jason Slack, Director of Building and Grounds, discussion or decision to allow, is that Loader?
Looter, yep.
Looter, to withdraw their bid on the courthouse renovation project due to a clerical error.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody else? Everybody else? Ayes, nays?
Aye.
Okay. We've got enough to pass it, we're good. Next is the discussion held by the board, which is this. Jason, I think we just need to talk about the award courthouse renovation project.
Why was I not included on that bid Zoom meeting?
There you go.
Normally, I just attend the bid openings myself.
Boy, I don't know if that's normal.
Well, for the last couple of projects, I have just attended the bid opening for myself and provided the board with the bid tabulation once it was done.
Okay.
Tim called me about 15 minutes before the meeting and wanted me to come up with to do the bid opening. So that's kind of what happened. It wasn't planned.
Sure.
Bronco was low bid at $5,113,600. And that's with all the alternates.
What's the next closest one to that? Do you have that?
Mango Henny.
About 5.2.
5.3, 5.3, they're close. What is,
Oh, is that
F-
that sheet?
yeah, what is, you might have it there. What is F?
That's a heat pump that supplies the cooling for the CASA area, or it's the mezzanine for court security right now. That's an add if we want to replace that heat pump for that area, which I'm suggesting we don't.
Are they different than the heat pumps that are over here?
It's on a separate system, yep.
Okay, but isn't the HVAC all in here this time?
So that system exists right now, they're just kind of on the older side, so.
Right.
Wyatt just wanted to see, we had put out an alternate to see if we wanted to replace it, he said they're in good condition. So it is serviced right now, it's just that whether or not you want to replace it, they don't have to be replaced.
Right, but we're, in this bid, it's got all the electronics, HVC that we had tried to do separately, is that accurate?
Yes, except for in the CASA area, it was discussed whether or not we wanted to replace all those. We were just on the fence of whether or not to do it, because it didn't have to be
How
done.
many, there can't be more than, is there more than one heat pump in the cow center?
Yeah.
I think it's just one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, so are we going with all these alternates then, or are we not going with them?
I recommend that we don't deduct any of the alternates. The acoustic panels are in the comm center, that's for better hearing in
Right.
that area, so there isn't the echo in the background, that's in the comm center. Lightning protection system is something the courthouse currently does not have. I asked them to include that as an alternate, because it's something we should have.
On the corners of the building and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
The heat pump replacement in CASA, I'm not recommending that we go forward with that at this time. Bid alternate number 5, the LVT versus the VCT. LVT costs more upfront initially, but it's gonna save us a lot of money in the long run. You don't have to wax it, it's a lot less maintenance. I'm recommending we go with the LVT,
What is that?
luxury vinyl tile
Oh.
versus the commercial vinyl tile.
Okay.
And then the bid alternate number 6, there's windows going in on the second floor on the north and south sides, where there currently are no windows on those sides of the building. I think that it would probably benefit us to put the windows in.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it
So
less
don't-
depressing.
The only other thing that's really kind of, I don't know how was written as far as them completion days? Was that their deal or was that our deal?
We gave them the option to put in how many days for completion.
I mean, these guys are way less than anybody else's guesstimation on what it takes to do this.
Yep, and they feel comfortable with it.
Okay, so if they are not, is there, what's the penalties?
It's liquidated damages, I believe it's $500 every calendar day. I'd have to look
Every
back at-
working day, you mean, or
I think
calendar?
it's calendar. I'd have to look to see how that's written in our contract.
You said $500?
I think it is. I'd have to go
Was
back
it
to
the
our
same
site.
for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Scott, I'm sure you noticed, even though the looter bid was withdrawn,
Yeah.
they had 300 days.
Yeah, but they can't add either, so. But the other ones weren't, you know, they were a year or better, pretty much.
And some of that could be based on the schedules.
Yeah. I mean, they gotta have the subs and, I mean, it's a big project.
Expensive project.
Yeah. This does not, or does it, this bid didn't include any, raising of any buildings, did it?
No,
So, did we ever get a number on that?
For them to take down the building.
no, are you talking about for the addition, Scott?
No, to raise that one across the street.
Yeah, it does not include that,
Do we have a number on that?
no.
I mean, it's gonna go bye-bye, right?
Yes.
We had a preliminary, I believe it was 100 grand from HGM.
Did we? That's what I thought we had a number. Was it from them?
Yeah. That was part of the initial capital plan discussion that we had last calendar year. I can't remember exactly when we had
There
that
are
discussion.
grants
but
too for the demo of that building. So being it's blighted, there's asbestos in it and different things.
And the bid was what, 100,000?
That,
About,
that was their estimated.
estimate, okay,
We didn't bid it.
okay.
Well, it's gonna be curious where all this money's gonna come from here pretty soon, Jason. Things in the world's gonna change a little bit, I'm afraid. You know. But if you can find something to get rid of that bill, some money to get rid of that building, you let me know.
Well, another thing is too, as part of this contract, the courthouse renovation, we're removing our underground fuel storage tank,
Right.
which qualifies us for a grant from the DNR for 15,000. It's not much, but it's something to
Well,
help out.
from the UST fund, you've been paying into it all this time. Penny on every gallon that you bought.
So Jason, did they give you any kind of a start date?
When I met with them last week, they sounded like they wanted to get their submittals in so they could figure out lead time on material, but they want to start right away.
What's the first thing they would do? Is it 911?
More than likely, we would get a plan together with Bob for a move-out date, and we would be working on that initially, yes. There's multiple areas that they could be starting in, and we still kind of need to hash some of that out.
So if they're projecting 270 days for completion, is our 911 center in Omaha for 270 days?
Bob said he can be over there up to 6 months.
God, they don't have to, that project part of it shouldn't have to go the full length of the project.
I don't know, I'm just
No,
asking.
I wouldn't think it would need to be, I don't know, was it stated in the deal that that one needed to be the front end?
No,
It's better it's probably be the front end than the back end.
Yeah, usually we have a pre-con meeting where they bring in a schedule that we can work through some of those dates and see how long it would take them to demo out that area and put make sure it's all put back together before they come here, and then we can decide whether it's up front or at the end.
There's 6 or 7 different pieces to this project that
Right,
need to be put together in some kind of an order. Court security would probably wind up being one of the last areas. We're removing the stairwell in the current court security office and expanding the 911 server room. That'll probably be the last phase of the project. But there's also a lot of work we need to do in the county attorney's offices, put instructional support in for the scroll chillers that are going on the roof.
So Jason, does Ronco's base bid, lump sum bid, include the $42,000 for the heat pump for CASA?
No,
Okay. So you're looking for a motion to approve the low bid for Ronco's construction for the renovation of the B wing?
Yep.
If you want, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, we got the money.
what, yeah. So these numbers on the alternates are not in the bottom number?
all the numbers in red
Well,
are
mine are
included in
Mine are
it.
all in black and white.
Oh, they are.
I don't have a color one.
1, 2, 3,
He's colorblind.
or no, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah,
Those are deducts. If we didn't want to put those in there, we would deduct that from the base bid.
good, so we gotta put those back in there then.
That 5,165,000 includes all those deducts.
Yeah, okay, so that's the one that's the number we're dealing with.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
The number you're dealing with is 5,165?
5,165,000.
Okay.
And that includes that heat pump, Tim? It still doesn't include the heat
No.
pump? Okay,
No, and that doesn't necessarily need to be replaced at this time.
okay.
Is that Ronco?
Yeah,
RONCO?
K-Tel,
Bucket fisherman.
Pocket Phil, Fisherman.
Well, if there's not any other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Jason, you'll work with both Ronco and Bob on the moving of the 911 center, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And once we have a plan kind of established, I'll convey that to the board.
Why did Bob say he could only be in Omaha for 180 days or 6 months?
I don't know the reasoning. I just know that he said he can be over there for up to 6 months. I don't know if there's some kind of an agreement that he has with Douglas County or what the reasoning is.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the 2020 snow removal request for proposals.
So did we have a request for snow removal proposals before, or is this something new?
This is new.
Okay,
You don't want to shovel snow anymore?
No, this is just so we can get bids on our snow removal. We'll still be doing our own sidewalks and stuff.
we had someone doing it though, right?
Yes,
Okay,
it needs to go out to bid again.
okay,
I'll move that.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Next, we have Becky Belt, Finance Auditor's Office, discussion decision amendment for fiscal year 2019 to 20 budget, and set the date for public hearing on said amendment.
Good morning.
Morning.
Requesting to set the date and time for our June 16th meeting. Melissa was not here for me to verify whether 10 a.m. is already filled or not. Normally we do it 10 a.m.
Just call it 10 a.m.
10's fine.
And we have, on the amendment, $150,000 for public health for the COVID-19 pandemic, $5,000 for some salary out of out-of-class pay, also related to that for the planning department. And then also there just happened to be some good activity in the bike trail fund with revenue coming in and expenses going out, so we're amending 100,000 revenue and 100,000 expense to cover that for the rest of the year.
Are you setting that for June 9th?
June 16th.
16, yeah. So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion?
And we'll send them.
Can't be this nice because of stupid newspapers out there.
Because what?
So, the newspapers, they can't seem to get their dates figured out, so that's why it's on the 16th.
Hi, David.
Apparently newspapers can hold up the county.
Who made the motion, Tim? Did you make that?
I sure could have. I mean, you can write me down. I don't think I did, but
I thought I heard your voice.
So we got, the motion was to be June 16th at 10 a.m.
10:15, 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Okay.
We've got motion second, we're good to go. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next is David, there's David. Demonstration of the new county website via.
Screen down? There we go. Presenter PC.
Candy okay over there? Are you okay? That screen's gonna come in. Watch the screen, honey.
No. The auditors affiliate are using the same Neapolitan Labs for updating their website. Everybody's using this outfit.
I guess. That's neat.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in. About a year ago, we started meeting as a group to decide what the new website ought to look like. We met in this room. We put post-it notes on the wall, various ideas, grouped them, got a lot of input from department heads, and about a year ago, when we started that, we're now live with the new website. The new intranet site, the internal website for employees, is not quite there yet, but I'll show you some of the pieces there. It's taken about a year to get there. We've started a new web committee that involves several people: Andrew Motes from Auditor's Office, Garfield, who's sitting over there, Jake also from his office, Jana, Jeff Franco from Conservation, and also Sam Stivers when she was here. Kelly Kincaid from IT, Todd also from IT, Jamie Peterson from GIS, and Veronica Ross from 901, all were part of the web committee to help move this along, put the RFP together, verify that things were working the way we wanted it to work. We selected a vendor, Neapolitan Labs, who has been awesome. They've also done the waterway site for us. They've done the election site. They're working on the conservation site as well. So they've done a lot of websites in our area, and the beauty of that is these websites can collaborate together. So when election results show up on the election website, it also shows up on the county website as well. When there's tourism things going on with the waterway site, it shows up also on our website, and vice versa. So the sites are integrated, which is beautiful. So when you go to potcounty-ia.gov, this is what you see. You can see we have a watch live button, which is because this meeting is live right now. So citizens know that we're in a live meeting. They can click on that and watch it. I'm not going to click on it because then we'll get some sort of weird loop, of course, going on. But nonetheless, one of the main goals of the site was to tear down the walls between departments so that citizens didn't have to know what department did which service. And we've done that by implementing this search feature. So you can go, when you go here on your desktop or your mobile phone, you can type in anything like birth certificates. I just typed in BIR, I get birth certificates, I click that. I get my answer. I don't need to know that it was the recorder's office that provided that information. I just type in birth certificates. I type in, and you can play with this, of course, yourselves, but you can type in anything you want to find the information you want to look for or want to find, independent of the department that provides it. We're just starting this last couple weeks. We can see what people have been searching for and find out what citizens expect from the county and route them accordingly. So, for example, last week's big search was divorce. who would have thought that that would be something they would search for on the Pot County website? So we're getting data from citizens telling us what they want from the county. And some of the things we don't do, some of the things we do, so we can route them accordingly. One of the other things on here that we saw last week was Council Bluffs project bids. Well, that's not something we do, but we can answer the question and route them to that website, right? So we can help citizens with our digital front door here. One of the other things that we did was to remove the walls between departments was we added this apply, pay, and report links. So these are just ways to apply for things at the county, whether it's a job, whether it's to be on a board, whether it's to pay some sort of, speeding or ticket of some sort or whatever it is. You don't need to know which department provides that. As you scroll down the site, you see some quick links for some important topics. We also have this trending section that looks at Google Analytics and provides the top 3 things that people care about. Treasurer and recorder and assessor obviously are the big 3. We retained this property search area, but we also added the recorder. So now you can search for document numbers, all from without going to their respective websites. A calendar of events, news. Secondary Roads already posted something about a spring update of some sort. So you click that, you can see a picture, read about the project. Then we go a little deeper. These are less important things, still important, but not as important as the top items. This is the Waterway website. So this just cycles through various things, tourism-based things. We're not inputting this information, it's coming directly from the Waterway site, so it's automatic. Let's scroll down to get more details there. Wanted to show you the contact section.
So is that what the page is gonna look like right there?
This is the page.
This is live.
This is live right now.
So who, the group determined that picture that's back there?
Well, the picture is, if I hit refresh, the picture will change.
Okay.
We hired Chris Ruhawk.
It doesn't scroll, it just only changes it.
Every time you visit the site, you probably will see something different there. There's 15 or so images back there that will just change.
Okay.
We hired Chris Ruhawk from, as our photographer, and he went out throughout the county and picked various things. He also, if I click on the contacts, he took pictures of all the department heads, including yourselves, right? So we now have a little bit more of a personal website, so you can see pictures of our department heads and elected officials. One thing I wanted to highlight, if I go to the departments and click on Recorder's Office, I wanted you to see what one of the, each department has these services across the top. So they define what those services are. They can add them, subtract them, change them, whatever they want to do, reorder them, and use whatever icon they want. And this takes the citizen to the service that department provides. If I go back to that previous department page, you can see all the services that are provided by each department. And you can even search here and I'll type in birth again, and you can see birth certificate shows up, and that's all you see. So there's search within the site. You'll notice some of these are kind of a peach, pinky color. And what those are intranet site items only for employees. Only employees can see those items. I'm logged in, if you look in the upper right, as myself, and I can go to the intranet site and see employee information. So I'm still at potcounty-ia.gov, but as an employee, I can see employee things like, well, I'll go ahead and click it so you can see what you see. Various announcements that employees have thrown out there. You can see birthdays and anniversaries. You can see auditor's office things like timekeeping information, work order for buildings and grounds, roads things, HR things, IT things, submitting a ticket, wellness committee items, risk items. So these are only accessible by the employees.
Yeah, but do they show up on there for the citizen then?
Only if you're not logged in.
Only if you're logged in as a
So you can see my name in the upper right. If I click that again, this is what you would see as a citizen, just that login button.
Okay.
It's using my Windows login, so I'll click that again.
Okay.
So this orange, peach, pink color, whatever you want to call that, whenever you see that, you know you're only seeing an intranet employee-only item. So if I go back to the departments page, all those pink items are only employee items. For example, submit a work order. You obviously don't want citizens submitting work orders for buildings and grounds, but employees should be able to do that.
So if I go to the auditor and go into Tyler, is there another login then?
Correct, yep, to get to that front page.
Okay.
So if I go into Tyler, it would ask for me for my login to submit my time.
Did you have to log into this to be able to go to the intranet?
I had to log in, yes.
Okay.
Now, we're still in the process of the intranet features, so this week we'll see more things coming out, but eventually I won't have to log in at all if I'm in the county domain. So if I'm at my desk, I'm an employee, I just log into the website, I'll automatically get to the intranet items because my Windows login will take me there automatically. I don't have to re-log in. So let's see here, when we go back to the intranet site. Some things at the bottom, employee directory, you'll be able to search for employee name, phone number, things of that nature. You'll be able to reserve a meeting room as well. You know, we've got many meeting rooms. And some of them are run by people where you have to call them. Some of them are just self-serve. You just go ahead and click on the calendar. I want that meeting on Thursday from 2 to 3. You just click it and put it on the calendar and it's yours. So you'll be able to see calendars of when meetings are available. Like if I needed to reserve this room, is it available? If it's not available, I don't need to call Melissa at all. So some other little features, I'll be able to subscribe to announcements, so I can get a text message or an email when a new announcement shows up. So a lot of really cool intranet features as well that we're excited about. I want to show one last thing, that's the board's space. If you click, you can see the basic details there, but if you click the meetings and minutes, Neapolitan organize this way better, I think, for citizens. You can see the agenda, minutes, and videos of all the meetings this year. And then you can expand 2019 and see those details. But before, it was a single PDF that had all the minutes for the entire year. This is better. This is easier for the citizen, easier for the user. Putting this out, watch live out here attracts people. I noticed that there's 20 people watching when I walked in. So we're getting more traction there, which I think should encourage you guys as well. So
Where's the, I'm gonna call it the matrix of what it's, you know, number of people watching, what they're doing, where's that tool at?
it's not visible to citizens or employees, but
It's visible to citizens and?
is not visible. But we have that data, the web
So
committee.
who's got that data?
Web committee will have that data once we push that out to them. And
So
The board should have that data
yes,
on probably a monthly basis to start with.
we can definitely do that. It's just an email that will show up in your inbox from Google, and you click it and you'll see graphs and charts and everything you ever care about.
Is that Google or is that Neapolitan's data?
It's Google Analytics does all the numbers, and
Right, they own that.
Google Analytics is a I don't know what you
Intellectual
call it.
property they will own.
It's foundational to all websites.
So,
you can
but if
see-
you're not on Google, then what?
It doesn't matter what you're using to go to the website. This is the tool that we're using to amass the data.
Okay,
It's just a background thing that's listening.
so the Russians are here then?
I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about
I mean,
that.
basically Google could sell that information to someone else if they wanted.
I don't know that they do that or not, but
Advertising.
it's not private.
We're not gonna have any of that.
It's not that big a deal, but they could look up like divorce, and so then they can say, okay, keyword it was divorce, and they. all of a
Right, but
sudden-
there's
I don't
no
know if it's
ads,
public,
we have
but-
no ads running on our websites.
Ads are a whole different conversation, and we do not have any ads, no.
Okay.
No. So that's the website. Want to let you know as far as going forward, what we're planning on doing. We have a web committee that will be meeting monthly to start. We'll probably space that out as the site becomes more burned in, I would say. But we'll be analyzing that data to see what people are searching for and make sure we have FAQs out there to answer those questions and direct people. All the departments have been trained on how to edit their content. And the web committee and IT will be working on the non-department pages.
So does it somewhere, if someone goes in and edits, is it logging that, who went in and edited it?
It is in the database. We don't have access to see who did that, but we can certainly get that information.
Who's got access to it?
Neapolitan Labs does.
Okay.
It's just not open. It's not,
So is it proof, I mean, is it some kind of, is the committee approving it, or is it just, you know what
Department
I'm
heads
saying?
put out whatever they want.
Pardon?
The department heads put out whatever they would like on their department pages.
Well, I understand that to a certain degree, as long as it's the department head, but if they delegate it and have a couple people or something, and
Each department picked their editors for their departments, and those are the ones that have access to edit content on their website.
okay.
But there is, if they have an internal approval process, that's up to them. The web committee,
Pick the one employee that knows how to use.
Well, the thing is,
the web committee can see stuff,
you
but
don't
if
want an
it,
employee, you know, I mean, you just want some checks and balances, you know. And then the frequently asked questions,
yes,
are those grabbed by analytics, or who's?
those were submitted by each department for their, whatever they felt like they.
But somebody's gonna be asking questions on our, so is analytics grabbing those questions, so you vet those every month, or?
Yes, we're grabbing that all the time, and that's what we're using to update the search. So the FAQs are what's showing, what drives this.
Right,
So if there's a question that's asked that does not have an answer,
right,
we create an FAQ for that.
okay,
When I say we, I'm talking about the departments do that. I'll notify, the web committee notifies them, hey, this question was asked last week 5 times, let's make an FAQ for that.
right, and then if it doesn't get done, you know, who's gonna be?
That's
That's
where
where,
we have a
the
few of those
hammer,
situations.
the hammer's here. I don't mean that, literally, but somebody needs to know if it's not getting done.
Correct, I agree. And
The only tricky part is gonna be your other elected officials, I guess, but, our departments, we can mandate that very simply.
we'll cross those bridges when we come to them, because that's important. We should have answers to questions that people are asking.
Well,
So we know what those questions are, and if the answer is an error, a 504 error, or
Yeah, but
stated off
we
out,
can't force Levos to answer a question if she doesn't want to, so.
we can ask people,
Right.
however we want to do it.
even, so on, I don't know, an annual basis, those questions should all be reassessed and see if anything's changed in our operations or something's changed in the state code, or,
Right.
So that we're stay somewhat.
Broken links and misspellings and those
Right.
kinds of things,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting intranet on my phone. I get home, apply, pay, and report. Should it be on?
So on your phone, you are not logged in, because it doesn't, because you're not on the county domain, and Neapolitan's still doing a little bit of work here and there.
Okay,
But your phone will not know that you are Melvin Hauser.
right. But I don't see a login site.
You will tomorrow.
We will, okay. I'm in a hurry, David.
I know you want to put in your time, I know.
Wait for certain
You will
website.
tomorrow.
County-ID.gov.
Correct.
I think that's well done, David. I think you and your web team deserve kudos for that. I appreciate their time and effort to get this thing ready to go. Would you do me one favor? Would you click on Richie Incognito up there in the top right? What is that?
So I'm using the incognito browser to make this work properly
I
this
thought
morning.
maybe you were trying to hide from being on this.
No.
Okay.
No, thank you, I appreciate that. The web committee was integral into the success, and Neapolitan Labs was awesome. Very, very good, and coming up with ideas that we didn't think about and throwing those out there, and yeah, we're excited to get this rolled out. And we have a relationship with them going forward. We have annual maintenance that we've been paying them, and they answer our tickets. They have a whole ticket system just like IT does, and we'll be submitting tickets periodically.
So the communities within our county, do we have links to
So
those?
click on the cities in the upper right there, and then
Those that have, I guess, websites then?
all the towns are here. Some submitted pictures, some did not.
Are we going to ask them to submit pictures? I noticed that there were some that don't.
We did ask.
And they just didn't reply, or do we need to send another reminder out to them? I think we should.
I can ask Melissa.
So do they have, if
Well,
you,
would we be able to take
so if I
on-
click on the Council Bluffs, does it go to their website then?
It does.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Do all of them, I don't know, I know all of them probably don't, but do most of them have a website then?
Most of them do, yep.
Okay.
And the elected officials links goes to the elections website, which is really cool, another integration.
Okay.
So we're not updating this information at all, it comes from the elections
Is
website.
that a calendar next to the Facebook thing? What is that?
That is, let's see, what is that? That's their website.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have our Potawatomi County Facebook right now, right? It's only like individual departments.
Here's what we have for social media. We have this grid. So Potawatomi County has a LinkedIn and YouTube account, and then these are all the different departments and their.
Nice, okay.
So that's what you see, and you can drill down by clicking these filters.
Cool.
So if the county ever wants to get a Facebook page, that can be done, but we just have to decide who's maintaining it. So,
Well done, David. Thank you very much.
We
Thank
can have
you.
Marilyn do that when she retires. Would you like to be on Facebook?
That is true.
okay, thank you very much.
Hey, appreciate it.
Thanks, dude.
It looks great.
I do.
So it went live.
I do not do that.
Oh, you don't?
It went live the 14th.
So we can start telling people?
Yeah, tell everyone. Yep.
So, you get a daily.
The Google Analytics piece, it's live, it's essentially live, it's about 2 hours delay, but it's always
Really?
doing the numbers.
Okay.
You'd like to see the numbers, wouldn't you? I can tell. I'll get you some numbers, Scott. But I like it too, I know exactly what it's like.
David, when I put that on the monitor, was that available for the YouTube viewers to see? what
Whatever
you-
the camera shows is what the YouTube live streamers
Okay,
see.
so then they were able to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
So we should put a camera on the project that's coming up, and they can watch the work as it progresses. Right, David? See, Jason, we're gonna have a camera on you this whole time.
It'd be fun to watch. It's time-lapse
So
video.
next on the agenda is map,
69, 70, 71, 72 days. The countdown.
Matt Wyatt, Director of Planning and Development, discussion on proposed Potawatomi County Industrial Park Urban Renewal Plan for the Potawatomi County Industrial Park Urban Renewal Area, decision on setting dates, consultation, and a public hearing on the proposed plan, and sign resolution 54-2020 entitled Resolution for Determining the Necessity and Setting Dates of the consultation and a public hearing on proposed Potawatomi County Industrial Park. This seems like a bunch of repeating things, but anyway, Resolution 54-2020. I'm gonna go ahead and tell us what's going on.
So this is for the Armstrong Industrial Park, which is on 192nd Street, just south of the Lewis Central campus. Pam has been working through the process of us being able to utilize some TIF funding on this project. And this is a part of us being able to do that, is to have the urban renewal plan in place. So we're working with Allhere's Cooney on this project, and through what we have to do today, there are a couple specific things that the board would need to acknowledge, which would be to set the date for the consultation on the proposed plan. And we're currently, by the timeline that we have set up, that would be, we would want that set for June 2nd. I don't know if we want to tackle these one at a time.
What was it just, I mean, are we gonna meet at 9, or are we gonna just do it at 10?
No, the board doesn't have to be present. It's
Oh, this is
just, we
for-
have to send it to the tax
That's to
entities.
the- Oh, okay,
This is just for the consultation meeting portion of it.
to the school districts and
Yes.
and stuff like that, okay.
And then, so what this will be able to do is for, we've been talking about this project for, I believe, going on 2 years now. And it is a developer by the name of Jason Armstrong. He owns a 26-acre piece of ground down off of 192nd Street. There's currently a commercial building on site down there that is leased out to a roll for a truck tarping business. I think they're called like Roll Tight, I believe is the name of them. What this will allow Jason to do is, Jason has proposed, which would be on our side, what we look at it as is a major subdivision. So there's 14 proposed lots in there. They range in size from just over 1 acre to I think up to 5 acres in size of what the sites are. And he, through the pre-work that he's done, is you probably, by chance, he had the ability to elevate the entire site. So he elevated the entire 26 acres to be up out of the floodplain in that area, right? And these 1 acre sites are kind of designed for those contractors who, by some code standards, aren't able to build a shop in town because of the paving requirements and things that happen. So there's what we had been for a number of years ended up seeing was a number of contractors moving out to the county, trying to operate out of their pole barns, and we were running into conditional use permitting issues, and things like that. This is gonna be able to give those contractors an affordable site to go build a shop, to have their employees come to and operate out of. And it would be, construction companies, plumbers, electricians, things like that would be kind of operating out of this. He has put design criteria on the different lots in his covenants, and then there's also some, there'd be a minimum assessment agreement that we're working on potentially too. So then that way, we're protecting ourselves as a county. If we do some TIF financing for them, then we know that the buildings are gonna go in there are gonna be minimum assessed at whatever, so we can get this TIF paid off. And it wouldn't be, with this being our first TIF since the Bentry one, we're not looking at an enormous amount of money. We're just looking at being able to help out with some of the roads costs and the water line costs that goes down in there. So the entire upgrading of 192nd Street and the interior roads, we were awarded the RISE grant, which is $500,000 for that portion of it. And then we would have the half that's left over. Jason Armstrong is gonna contribute 25%. And on just 192nd Street's costs. So then, he's gonna contribute some funds, then we're gonna be able to contribute some funds. And potentially, if we have to do it by TIF, then we can have it under TIF, it's a separate deal. And we have more meetings coming up on what that will mean. But then, the goal of what this is to keep those lot prices affordable at a rate to where these people can buy them and build a shop that they can afford and operate out of. And that's kind of what it boils down to.
Is it rural?
It is rural. So right now, they had signed an agreement. This was a subdivision that went through city council with Paula Hazelwood, and she was able to get them to sign their right of review away because it lies within city service area 1 of the 2 mile agreement currently with City of Council Bluffs. And so it is rural up until 2024. Is that right?
Well, did anybody read that?
Leanne, but I'm not sure if
She had a chance to review it. To look at that yet.
You wanna read that? I mean, it's not real clear on when he
it
has
says
the-
not before.
Yeah, it doesn't say he has to do it after.
Can't
So-
petition before.
Right, so that's the key. I mean, for us to do the TIF, I mean, it has a dramatic effect if, say, in 2025, he's in the city limits. The city's levy is, substantially what it is, so then you're able to grab that too. And if his value, I mean, his base value is gonna be around 900,000, is what he's assessed at about now, so.
And what we worked on, this was one that we had to go over to the city because they're gonna have to sign off on a joint use agreement with us on this, because it lies within that 2 mile agreement. They did agree to sign off on that as long as we contain the urban renewal plan only to Jason's parcel. And that's what this urban renewal plan is written for, is just specifically his parcel on that, because they didn't wanna necessarily potentially wind up getting roadblocked in that they do move to expand down that way.
Right. Well, their city limits is on the other half of the road. Yeah, or, within the city.
Correct.
And Paula Hazelwood was going to check into that,
Language?
the annexation agreement
Yeah, did you?
further also.
Okay. I mean, did you read it? I mean, it's just 2 pages, I think, for whatever the resolution.
I did. That was, so when they got sent over that time was the first time that I had saw it. The timeline took me a little back because I thought, the original discussion on it was 10 years.
That's
And,
the discussion they had with the one on
Valley View.
and that had always been the timeline because we were discussing those two kind of at the same time. It was always on like a 10-year time frame. So to see the 2024, I know that.
Okay, so Jason's seen it, right?
Yes, and I'm trying to, I reached out to him last week to see if he had clarification on, January 1, then he has to petition to be annexed, or if it was optional or
Okay,
flexible,
Yeah.
so.
I agree. Okay, so this doesn't prohibit us from, changing if the numbers don't come in the way we want them to, and that type of thing, so.
I think all we're doing right now is setting the actual base value as of January 1 of 2019, the way I read it.
Well, we're not even.
But then a minimum assessment agreement comes with that. Is that part of the development agreement that's gonna come, has not come to the board yet? And it's not done yet, right?
No.
Well, the base value, I don't know.
That starts when debt is certified.
Right,
Well, according to,
but we haven't done that yet, so it's gonna change potentially.
Ordinance.
I mean, but that's not that big a difference, I
No.
mean,
If it's done before
for,
December 1st this year, then it would set.
because the
you
reason.
said January 1 of 2019.
Well, yeah, but that's assuming that we would get it all done. That would be done in that timeframe. But does this trigger the 20-year clock? Which one-
Not
which-
until
Which one triggers the 20-year
the
clock?
which
Actual,
we'll get to that when you guys,
actually do
set a date for the public hearing to adopt the plan.
plan, okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so, how many, is it just the one motion that we need here?
No, the first one we need is to set a date for the consultation on the proposed plan, which we have timelined out right now for June 2nd.
At 9 o'clock. Did you move that, or I'll second it?
Okay, any discussion? Roll call.
I think that can just be is that a resolution?
That is.
No, I think that's just a call vote.
That's a roll call on a
Well,
resolution.
well, wait a minute.
Not the
Resolution's
consultation,
Not this part.
the consultation.
Okay,
We're getting
She
there.
didn't break it up on my sheet.
No, I know, neither did, so we can just call for a vote on this.
All right,
Was that?
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
It's the consultation meeting on June 2nd at 9 o'clock
So now we need
with all the taxing entities.
the resolution next then?
Yeah.
The next part is we're going to direct the notice of the consultation be mailed to all affecting taxing entities along with a copy of the proposed plan, utilizing the notice of consultation approved in section 2 of the resolution, and designate Pam Calstrip to conduct the consultation and provide responses for any recommendations that are made.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Now, this is the resolution. Are you good now?
No.
No? I see one,
This is under number 1, isn't it?
Supervise the hearing room for the courthouse and council and to sign resolution 5420 entitled resolution determine the necessity of setting a date for consultation. Yeah, this is the resolution.
Yes, this is the resolution.
So this is a roll call.
all right, who made the motion? Bill, and seconded by Drake.
Yeah.
To approve setting. I don't know, this, unless you guys got this straightened out and it's not on the,
The script is all jacked up, so.
okay, well, we've still got,
We're good.
we've still got, right, but the resolution says consultations on the second day. It does not say, oh, and public hearing on the 23rd.
Yeah, we're setting a public hearing for June 23rd.
All right, we have Belt and Drake. So they're both within the same motion. Okay, Chairman Schultz.
Aye.
Supervisors is Wickman,
Sure.
Belt,
Aye.
Drake,
Aye.
and Groby.
Aye. Two more on that one, that's it.
That's it.
Next one, we have Matt Wyatt. Planning Development, Garfield Home and Safety, Nick with the VA, Jana with HR, and discussion on opening the courthouse to the public.
Some additional stuff that wasn't in the initial packet that,
Thanks.
Thank you.
is being provided. What we did, we created a checklist of things to prepare the courthouse for opening. And within that package, you can see we developed a couple of engineer controls, administration controls, and focus on PPE. So that, and we had a small task of folks within the courthouse to come up with this list of items and check with each department head and try to figure out which direction, what support they needed. And so that's what we presented here this morning for is on this check sheet. And we got some tentative dates on there after discussing with some department heads, and I'm sure some of the department heads can address their concerns about on specific dates.
Within this, within your packet would be the staff report from Public Health to where if we do go with the door screeners, the proposal is to hire 2 public health interns to be able to do the screening at the front door of the courthouse. And I put in there an annual cost plus a month, because if we were to start June 1 with this, I mean, obviously it's gonna take us a little bit of time to get some interns hired on, and then a monthly cost as well, a monthly breakout of it. Also then is a bid for the sanitation crews that would be roving through the courthouse.
So you're proposing June 1st?
We are not putting a date on there. We have in there, what we have done and submitted to it is what the courthouse campus would be prepared to open. It would just be a matter of when the group of individuals, like we talked about, the board of supervisors, the sheriff, and the other elected officials come together and really act as one and say, on this date, we feel like we're gonna be open the doors and be back to business.
City is June 1st for City Hall.
I think that was the discussion they had. I've had with Matt, but I don't know if they voted on it and taken it to the council or not. That was their date they were shooting for as far as an opening goes. And to my knowledge, I don't know if that's changed or not.
Are the courts still June 1st?
No, courts are not June 1st. Our first opening date is July 13th. Possibly earlier if we meet criteria as yet being developed that we have not seen yet. And that is bench trials only. We will not see juries in this courthouse until September 14th.
So we put all the engineers and administration controls in place. It's just a decision on the effective date that you want to open up the courthouse. We've installed sneeze guards, we've sanitation, crews, rope barriers, wayfindings, all those things are in place, so it just depends on when you.
Jason, yeah. Jason would need the funding for the sanitation crews, and then we would need the funding for door screening.
The sanitation part is like 10 grand a month, right?
Yeah,
Is that what it was, Jason?
yeah, for 3 people, 40 hours a week.
For 3 people. How long do you expect this to need that service? Any idea?
I have no idea.
I think as long as this fires are still here and that sanitation crew is designed to just go around the courthouse and hit all the touch points, like the doorknobs, the bathrooms, everything that on that packet that you see with all the touch points on. So as long as the fire is still here, I think we're still gonna have to have sanitation crew hit those areas, so.
We also have 2 electrostatic disinfectant sprayers on order. They're supposed to be on the end of June. And we'll probably have somebody on that all the time.
So you want us to make a decision or what?
So,
I guess my script says make a decision.
well, are there any questions, I think, about
I mean,
the information that's in your
I'll
packet?
tell you what my honest belief is, just me talking. I'll get to you, Lee, hold on. So my belief is that the courthouse should open up the same time the city hall does. And if a certain department doesn't want to open for whatever the reason is, then they don't open until they want to. And as they're elected officials, and they have that same authority as we do, so that's kind of the way I see it.
We did talk through some of that, but felt like it would be confusing to our citizens if they come in and not everyone is open. If they're coming in to get a marriage certificate, but the courthouse is open, so they just assume all the services are open. You know, I've spoken with department heads and elected officials, and the date everyone is comfortable-ish with is June 8th.
So is there nothing gonna go on up on 3rd and 4th?
No, they're giving us a list of criteria. We're gonna get a list of criteria on June 3rd that will allow us to have some type of operation. We do not know what those criteria are gonna be yet, and those are gonna be county by county. We are assuming they're gonna be related to cleaning and social distancing and that kind of thing, but we don't have those yet. Those are coming through ISAC, and the Judicial Council they're partnering together to create a document. So we're just guessing. We're assuming in Potawatomi County, because of everything y'all already have planned and put in place, we're gonna be probably in operation here, and by operation, it's gonna be soft. But we're gonna be in some type of operation here, we're guessing by the 3rd week of June. We won't be full staff, but we're guessing we're gonna be having some hearings and some eviction hearings and that type of thing going on by the 3rd week in June. But we won't be full-blown operation until at least July 13th and then September for jury trials.
Lee, you had something you want to say?
So in the discussions, the point of opening was more or less my office. And with the proclamation ending tomorrow, we don't know what the governor will say tomorrow, if she's going to extend things as far as things that expire. And I said, with the things in place, we could try to open the 8th of June and see how things go. And Garfield and, Matt and everybody, they've worked hard to get what I need. And the temperature scanners are not here, but the temperature guns are, that would test each, person. I don't know about the other offices, if I open, then, like Janice said, well, are the other offices open? They're gonna come in and as far as Bob goes, he's not gonna open. When they come to the door, how many times, and you can ask Andy, do they ask if they can come into my office? The hub is right on the 1st floor. So, to try to alleviate a lot of my, volume, that might be a soft opening, we would say, and maybe don't announce it to anybody. We could try that and see how things go, and that would be our project runway of, you know, what we need to do and what we need, but that's not entirely up to
The
me.
recorder's office was shooting for the 15th of June.
Mark,
But I got a text this morning from the recorder's office saying that they're willing to work on the 8th of June, but no earlier than that.
So I sat in numerous meetings, as many of you have, with EOC and meeting with the city, and the agreements and the talks that we had down there were that we were gonna try to be on the same timeline, and that everything was gonna be the same. We were gonna unity. I mean, that was the whole. So why are we deviating from that? Like, what is the real cause that says we can't do it June 1st? Is it because we're missing something? Is there equipment that we don't have that we can't get? Is there?
I had a lot of reservation with my staff as far as the numbers, and had, you know, really went up. And then, you know, our proclamation ends on, you know, tomorrow.
You're saying the numbers of positive cases, that
Correct,
you're
and,
saying?
you know, different things.
Okay.
And then our proclamation ends on tomorrow, and, you know, I don't want everybody in here on June 1st, because that's when they're supposed to, you know, let's give us some time and we can, you know, I guess that's what and the crowd control piece, which we don't know what's gonna happen until.
In other words, I think she's saying she needs time to train and prep her employees for the.
So why can't treasurer's office open on the 8th, the rest of the courthouse open on 1st? I mean, what?
If you're going to have a policy where people who have a temperature of 100.4 cannot enter a public building, we need to have that in writing. We need to have that adopted by the board ahead of time.
Okay.
So
Again,
that's
my question's
something-
the same question, like, why can't this be done on the 1st?
Because,
Why are we not
well,
following what the city's doing? Like, I'm having a hard time here because we've agreed with the city that we're gonna do everything they are, so that we're all on the same page, and now we're saying, no, we're not gonna do that anymore.
I think there's two pieces to it. Employees, fear of the numbers, because our numbers in Potawatomi County are continuing to go up, and so employees are nervous about that, department heads are nervous about that, and then the second part is we're waiting for those things to come in, right? The temperature scanner. We have a backup plan though.
Continue to go up. I mean, I can't stop them from going up because they're gonna start testing. You know, had we been on the other side of Des Moines, the east side, we'd already be up there with the numbers because of the tests. But the one thing that hasn't changed, which they started this whole pandemic out about, was ventilators and ICU units. And that just never has come to fruition. You know? I mean, so, I mean, and I'm not the 1st, I'm not the 8th, I'm not the 15th, whatever. You can draw it out of a hat if you want. I mean, as far as that goes.
I think the courthouse can open June.
You can look at whatever data you want to look at.
June 1st, but like Justin said, some departments might not be.
Right. No, that's.
And how do you determine which departments that's gonna be open that's gonna be closed? If you open the doors June
I mean, the
1st,
board of supervisors has the say on the departments that are not elected. If elected offices don't wanna be open, they don't have to. That's on them. But at the end of the day, if we're not gonna be aligned with the city, the board of supervisors are the ones that are answering for that, not the other elected officials, as much as I wish they were. Because we made the agreement that we were gonna do the same thing the city was gonna do. And they're working hard, everyone worked hard, so they could get to June 1st. And now we're saying, no, we're not gonna play ball anymore. And now I gotta answer for that. So that's my frustration here. You know, and I'll do whatever you guys wanna do, it doesn't matter, I'll roll with it. But I'm just telling you that it's frustrating when we make agreements, especially in these meetings, that we're gonna do stuff, and then we're coming up with completely different plans.
So if the courthouse doors, and that includes, you know, our other buildings, right, are unlocked on June 1st, in this building, citizens could come in here to do what?
Walk around like it was a museum.
That's what,
I mean, if,
the assessor could, Penny said she would open on the
she's ready to
1st.
open now.
But otherwise, right, they would come in, and I just wonder downstairs, now they're gonna have to be fielding a lot of questions. Oh, what are you here for?
Election June 2nd, I mean, every election, people are up here waiting for the results. We're gonna say no to that again? I mean,
I will say in consultation this morning, I have heard from, between Friday and today, I've heard from the other boards in our judicial district. By and large, the opening date is the 15th. There's some doing soft openings starting today where they're doing appointments only if they haven't been doing that already, but by and large, the date is the 15th.
And Melvin can't authorize people to come in election night then? Does he have that right or no?
They can come in, but I'm guessing.
Can they come in and come up the second
Are we still limited
floor?
to 10 people at the, on June 2nd?
And we
Lobby?
don't, right now, the current proclamation is still at groups of 10.
So no more than 10 people.
So only 10 people could come up.
And
Right, I mean, it will
really,
change.
there's no point because you're gonna get the absentee results at 9:05, to 9:15 on your cell phone. So if they wanna collect somewhere else.
It's at midnight tonight, or was it the 26th? Was it midnight the
27th.
midnight at the 27th?
What I'm hoping to see, what I would hope to see is that I'm hoping that the governor extends it up to like groups of 25, groups of 50. I don't know that that's gonna happen because with some of the other things, it's just, the door's just been open. So it could be by June 1st that the door is just open and that groups of people are all back together again and with no necessary limitations on them. We won't know that. We've tried to get communications beforehand to give us some sort of heads up on planning, but we have seen throughout this whole experience that we are not gonna get any kind of heads up. They're just gonna announce it with the proclamation and we'll have to plan from that day. Right then, we'll have to try to get a plan together and go with it. So the work that we've done on trying to stay open, and Justin, I voiced the same thing, where I was like, listen, we really have to try to stick with what the city is, even if we open the doors of the courthouse and they can only come up to the assessor's office. That's the way I felt, but, I don't have that say of those things. But I mean, I do think that we either need to re-coordinate with the city or something has to be done before a decision gets made to say that we're gonna do it on a different day without consulting them.
I think they made.
Are you ready, Melvin, next week? Are you ready by?
I think they did at the last council meeting.
No, don't open until after the election.
Okay.
No, it's the thing from what Lee and Mark
It's
decided.
not that I want to
don't
take away
know
from
until
employees'
Lee does.
concerns at all. I'm just saying that
The
we.
capital
Mark,
was,
you know,
the
'cause
state's gonna
anybody
open up
that-
June 3rd though, right?
Is that the
Is that
recorder's
right?
office is probably wanting to come down.
Yeah.
They're back in session. They're gonna go back in session. I
We
can't
don't,
tell you what the
we
date
don't
is.
have the
But
traffic.
is it open to the public?
Those two do.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
The only people that come to the auditor's office want to know.
They
the
are gonna
assessor's
reconvene the 3rd of June.
Or the
Really,
recorder's
yeah, yeah. And we used to have
So I
the
don't
main
see her
traffic
doing any
years
of the
ago.
proclamation. I
office. Yeah,
mean,
we don't.
She's probably.
The abstract,
done
the
it
title
today if she
searchers.
did it.
Okay,
They
yeah.
need to come
Some of your
in.
casinos are going to 50% on June 1st.
Is it
Yeah,
June
she
1st?
said, she did announce today, it looks like June 1st, the casinos are reopening.
Oh, are they
She did?
really? Oh,
She
that'll
did
be
it Just a
good.
little bit ago, huh? Huh. That they're allowed to open on June 1st. If they want.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can ramp up that fast, to be honest with you. You know, there's a lot of bodies to get there and
Food.
separating and stuff, but, you know.
Okay, what do we want to do? Whatever we decide, we're going to roll it, so. First, 8th, what do you want to do?
I just think that I would like to stay and open at the same time the city does, but we have the recorder and the treasurer who want to open June 8th. And that is, I mean, those two offices plus the auditor's office are that's where all the traffic's gonna come. City of Council Bluffs, through their clerk, they collect garbage bills or water bills. I mean, and that's just for citizens of Council Bluffs. When Lee or Mark or Melvin have people come into, they're all across the county. And I guarantee you that Lee's office is gonna be flooded as soon as we open this door. So we need to make sure that she's comfortable and she's ready to go. And if she says June 8th, I'm okay with that. If you wanna open June 1st, but all the offices are closed, I mean, it'd be a museum, all you could do is wander around. I mean, I don't know what the point of opening June 1st would be if the offices aren't open.
If I can just say, there's 476 people's queues waiting to come in here and get a license on a new car that they got, and they want it by Friday. So you could just imagine, you know, the people, when you say, you know, I'm gonna open or whatever, you know, there's gonna be thousands. If you could see our files, you could see how many people are going to have to come in here because the proclamation is lifted and then they're gonna start getting penalized.
Was that change, was the 1st, the 8th, the 15th? I mean, it's gonna be the same thing regardless.
It depends on what she's, you know, she says, you know,
So-
it does change because each day is a different, you know, are you gonna be penalized depending on the date you bought it or you're not? So these dates keep going in a 30 channel, so.
No, and understand that, like, no matter what decision we make today, that if you decide you want it to be the 8th, that's your call, not ours. That's totally you. And we're not gonna try to take that away.
I don't wanna cause a lot of, you know, crowd control to, you know, anybody else.
Do you want me to go through what the governor just announced today?
Go ahead, sure.
Yes.
So Governor Reynolds says she's extending the original public health emergency proclamation to June 25th with some changes. On Monday, June 1st, racetracks and speedways can open events to spectators. Amphitheaters can open for concerts, amusement parks, bowling alleys, pool halls, arcades, and casinos can reopen as well at 50% capacity. Also effective on June 1st, social, community and recreational, leisure sports gatherings of more than 10 people will be permitted again. Groups and individuals attending the gatherings must maintain 6 feet social distancing, and all venues are permitted to 50% of normal operating capacity or the level necessary to maintain adequate distancing. Other businesses not mentioned will remain closed until at least June 17th. The original public health emergency proclamation was set to expire Wednesday night. The governor announced that the moratoriums on evictions and foreclosures will be allowed to expire 11:59 p.m. Wednesday. She said programs will be available to assist renters and homeowners with funding through the coronavirus relief bill.
So what's left to not open?
So when, one of the things that was, but I don't know if she kind of addressed it there, I was contacted by Pace. And when they reopened theaters, when they closed down theaters, it was theaters and then a list of different types of theaters. When she reopened theaters, she reopened movie theaters specifically. So you have the performing arts theaters that are still closed down then, because that's why they can't open what they have down there. So they're, I think, let's just have to go back through and see specifically what was listed out and then what specifically had been back opened.
So what was the June 25th date?
That's what the proclamation was extended to.
Do we ever,
With some openings.
Yes.
do we ever get a number on where our city load for this building?
It's roughly, if you go by the calculation tool that Justin James put out there, it's roughly 90 people per floor. That includes employees.
Right, the 90 does.
Yep.
So how many employees do we have? So what's that put us?
Per floor? That's difficult to say. We had talked about the occupancy number, but then had determined it would be very, very difficult to determine who's on what floor, right? Who leaves what floor, then who can now go up to that floor. So we decided not to set how many people come in based on occupancy.
450 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that effective
450 people of,
occupancy? Or you count the basement?
You mean for the building complete, the total building?
I would just count it, like, yeah, just say 450.
I didn't think they did, buildings, they do it by floor. So are we gonna start out limiting the number of people coming in that are non-employees?
we were not going to.
So we're gonna let them congregate outside?
Well, the part of the plan was, so if they're in line for Lee's office, they'd have to be going down that ramp outside, right? And then,
The other floors aren't gonna be an issue, especially with the.
Right, no, I understand.
You know, so.
But we're just gonna let them mingle outside, per se. Okay. Do we know on employees, how many of them want to wear masks or anything? Do we have that all put together for them?
There's not many in my office that, we've got the barriers and I've offered them to all employees and nobody really is a concern about that.
Okay.
So I guess I'd entertain a motion to open on the 8th.
Yeah, I guess that's when people are gonna be here. I guess I don't know that you wanna have a.
Does that include the funding for the sanitation crew and the screeners?
Yeah, no.
I mean, someone's got to make a motion.
So what,
I don't know.
what,
But yes.
so what, those numbers, so when do we, what's the trigger to call those off then? I mean, the flu comes every year. Well, what are we gonna do? What's gonna be our trigger to call those off? Are we gonna absorb that in our budget forever? Is that what?
Executive order, it'd be the executive order on the pandemic.
What's that?
Wouldn't that be when it expires?
What's that? What executive order?
For the pandemic.
Yeah, when it's over, it's
When what, when who determines it's over?
CDC.
CDC.
Wow.
So it's kind of hard to put a timeline on it if you don't know how long this,
Well, it's hard
this is gonna
to
last.
keep making money if you don't have it.
Well, that's why, one of the reasons why on the screeners anyway, I budgeted, I wanted to show the cost at a monthly cost, but then want to be an annual cost, because there is gonna have to be some sort of trigger to say, okay, we're done with the temperature screenings at the door. I mean, that is one piece of when we talked about the reopening plan and items that, while they may go on for a short period of time afterwards, but then we would see them drop off. But if they are talking about a resurgence of this coming in the fall time, well, then we'd have the money in there to bring those people back on without having to necessarily come in and request for it. But I think it would have to be a significant decline with the virus activity in our area and or the vaccine.
So other than us, what other public or private entity other than hospitals and care facilities are doing temperatures?
ConAgra had one put in, thermal imager.
All the food facilities.
All the food facilities?
All food facilities are doing it, long-term care centers, health systems. I don't remember if they're gonna do it or not.
Can you see this being reviewed every 3 months, Matt?
Well, I think last time we kind of brought this up, it was gonna be a monthly review.
Monthly review? Can the costs for the health interns and the cost for the cleaners, can that come out of the money the board allocated to you in public health for this pandemic?
The first bit of it you can handle a couple of months out of there from it.
So we're gonna review it every month? That we're gonna do?
We should.
So.
Because this is gonna be, the whole reopening thing is gonna be one of those living, breathing plans. Do we,
Right, but
once the people get in, are we gonna have the right guards?
If people are involved, can we get month-to-month arrangements with those entities?
I think Jason got something set up with the sanitation crew, with the current cleaning crew that we have now for the courthouse.
For a month-to-month deal?
Yep.
And the door screeners we're looking at are interns.
Right,
So
because
we can almost always scratch up a couple interns.
this next month is our 1920 budget. Yeah, it's an evolving situation, there's no doubt about it. It's really gonna be an evolving situation if they don't get the schools back going this fall. So I'll make a motion to do 30-day June 8th, 30 days of, what do you want to call it, the treatment and screeners and stuff, is that what you want to call it?
Funding for the sanitation crew and funding for the door screeners for 30 days.
So would that start on June 8th or June 1st of the screeners and?
I guess the 8th, right?
Well, if we could,
I
I think
think
the
if you
first.
can get them start early, that way you can train the screeners and what to do. And then the cleaning crew, Jason, we can get with the cleaning crew, get them their schedule, make sure that.
And then we're open on the 8th?
Right.
Okay.
I think those things have to be in place first before you open,
Okay.
not when you open.
I'll second
Subject
that.
to change.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? I guess I have one thing I want to make mention of, Ellen. Not gonna open until the 8th, the election results. Those somehow, I'm just saying for myself, I think they should be somehow publicized with what is going on as new precincts come in.
Yeah, they will. But probably, I'm guessing 80% of your votes will be counted by 9 o'clock. And hopefully, the plan was to have very few at the polls. And when they come in, they'll post them as soon as she gets them. And there won't be that many, so she'll be able, she and Andrew will be able to.
And then the 3 schools in Council Bluffs, right? Those are your
Pardon me?
Underwood, Oakland, Lewis Central, AL, and TJ.
Right, Lewis Central Middle School, Underwood Middle School, AL High, TJ High, and Oakland Community Center.
So how many people?
So they, you know.
How many people are you bringing in here next Tuesday?
How many people? Monday they'll start opening ballots, and there'll be 6 in the back room opening the absentees.
6 additional people, and then are there some observers still?
Observers, I think, according to Secretary of State, are not allowed. Poll observers are not allowed. I'm not sure about observers on the opening. Yeah.
Doesn't each party have?
Yeah, but that was waived.
We don't have to.
We don't have to let poll watchers don't come in the primaries anyway. They generally come in general.
Okay.
But yeah, there'll be at least 6 more people. We may have.
So are they?
Some of my staff opening too.
Is the courthouse then allowing anybody in on Tuesday evening then, or not?
We talked about it on Thursday, we kind of decided that no, the
Okay.
candidates would not be let in the courthouse on the second.
Okay,
Yeah.
so only the people that are delivering stuff from the,
Only the auditors people, yes.
yeah.
But they'll get the results quicker on their phone than they would from a printout from Audrey.
So you get to open those up on Monday, start on Monday, and start feeding through the machines, is that?
They allowed, in the primary, you weren't allowed to count until Tuesday, but last week he gave an order that we can start counting on Monday. Some of those counties they don't have an 850 like we have, they just have those 250s that you'll see at the polling place, and people have to stand there on Tuesdays feeding all those things in, huh?
Are you gonna update your counts as you go, or just wait till Tuesday then?
So let's wait till the polls close
Oh,
to.
nobody's gonna know what the count is, other than, I don't know if she'll even tabulate them. She may count them on Monday, but whether she gets any results out of it, she may just wait until they're all counted and get the results Tuesday afternoon, but nobody knows it but Christie. And she's all locked down in there with the ES&S guy. But as soon as, at 9 o'clock, she'll give them to Andrew and he'll post them. Then we wait until those 5 polls bring their results in.
So did, are we logging these as, I assume, COVID-19 expenses for?
They will be.
Potential, I guess, reimbursement.
Correct.
No, it's on, is that the governor sitting on whatever she's sitting on over there, 180 million or whatever. She spent 50 million on Test Iowa.
And I said, we had that meeting with, I can get on the agenda or whatever sooner or later, that conversation we had with Widow O'Brien.
Right. I've got that here, and I've read that. Leanne, I don't know if you've read it yet. I always was, with that federal money, is usually always been allowable to pay only X amount for administrative allowances. And these guys, I'd be curious if either NACO or ISAC has a list of entities similar to these guys that are out there. And they really didn't guesstimate on here how much time it would take them to do this. And if we didn't receive any funds, then we would still owe them whatever time unless we were to a non-exceed number. Does she have this, Leah?
No, I don't think I didn't forward that to her yet.
Well, you may want to get it to her so she can, but I think it's probably something we have to seriously consider though. I just would like to, I guess, talk to them further about it. But you believe that Jason's additional work and all the additional stuff we've put in place and Garfield's stuff, the temperature and all that stuff is going to be somewhat potentially reimbursable.
Correct, that's what we're shooting for.
Somewhere down the road, potentially. Yeah. Okay. We just gotta make sure we document.
You can create specific account codes and coordinate with payroll to make sure that those salaries are specific to those people, so it's.
I think the biggest thing that we would see from a consultant standpoint of it is the framing up of the different pieces and how it gets put together to go in, and then their connections to other funding sources, since there is so many new funding sources coming out of these different packages, that it's not just we're not just looking at a FEMA package, it's
No, I understand.
Treasury money
but they're up there right now, listening to the noise, I call it, trying to whatever you want to say, retool the care package that got passed already. Because they don't think it's quite the model that it needs to be for some states versus other states. So, it's a moving, even though they may say they no, and then they let, the Congress does something different, then says, well, the rules just changed. Well, the king makes the rules, then you gotta play by the rules. That's the key. The state's got all this money, but she used a bunch of it on, in the unemployment bucket and threw it over in there. Then she gave another, 56 million to this outfit out of Utah for the high tested, which were last on the line for it. I've been on there, 4 or 5 times now, I can't pass the test. So I guess I won't be getting tested.
So we got a motion and a second. Any last minute discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. The only other thing I'd like to get, and I know that y'all got plenty on your plates and stuff, and I don't know where the easiest part to get it, but what kind of number, like at the end of this month, say, have we expended from payroll side and from, I guess, public health and whatever, risk management and.
Reports we generate, we've been breaking them out by
See,
department, and I can copy them.
if we could see what that number is that we've, already, would be nice to, and then I don't know if I can extrapolate that back to a monthly number yet or not, but each month goes by, eventually I will be able to, I guess.
We also run that detail versus budget monthly.
Because all the people that we've put in, and you call them temporary, and you're gonna work on getting that track so we know where they're at, because if they bump up against 6 months, then there triggers another expense, correct? So we just have a good feel because, I mean, we were in pretty good shape financially, fund-wise, but you can burn through it just as fast as we got it, I guess, so. I just want to kind of.
Well, some of what we've been able to do with those nurses, some of the, like the STD grants, they allowed us to convert and utilize to take that personnel who had been doing the STD testing full-time and bring them over and utilize them in COVID, and so they're still getting paid through that state grant program on that.
But then nobody's doing STD then, is that what the deal is?
We're doing it by appointment only.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Same with immunizations.
It'd just be nice to kind of know those numbers because we can, or I can kind of figure out the revenue side, but that expense side it's kind of a wild card out there right now.
Yeah, we'll get it for you.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
a couple of things left here under other business. Articles agreement for workforce development chief elected official consortium, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Hold on.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is approve and authorize chairman to sign agreement between Potawatomi County and MAPA on Cities Project 20 Pot 03, Potawatomi County Cities Administration for cities of Avoca, Macedonia, Neola, and Trainer.
What did they, is that in here? Where'd that go? Is that it?
Melvin, the last one was Scott, and then
I think Scott and Dobie. I'm getting better at it after 3 years. It only took Marilyn 32. How many years before you were auditor did you clerk?
About 14.
Yes, they're all the.
Started in 70 and ran in 84.
Are these ongoing projects already?
The only projects I know that are ongoing is Carson, Macedonia.
Right, but that's with CBG. These are cities. Are these some housing thing deals? This is Neola, Trainer, and Avoca, and Macedonia. I would have cities being built, okay. So moved.
Second.
That, Scott, the cost is that the county gets reimbursed for that, right?
Which one? This one?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Iowa West. All we're gonna do is a pass-through.
Yeah, well, it says that the county agrees to compensate the planning agency, a cost not to exceed 10 grand.
Right, which that comes out of the Iowa West money.
Okay.
okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, and last thing is to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned.
Aye.